Many of today's content creators, such as myself, work in a volunteer economy, i.e., it's fueled by donations. This only is successful when there is a large subscriber base. We, all the direct content creators, are doing our best to build traffic and hopefully patrons to help offset the hundreds of hours we put into these works for you, our readers, listeners, and viewers. Our success starts and ends with you. It can only happen when you subscribe and repost, retweet, become a patron via Patreon, and encourage others to also promote our works. Additional info and links to do this are at the end of the show. There's good stuff here. We hope you feel it's worth letting more of the world know about it. Thanks! Just want to take a moment to thank everybody who's been supporting the Voss family. If you're new to the show, we have been taking the first few moments of every episode just to remind everybody to go to Riley'sCancerSupport.com for updates and information about my friend Ashley and her son's fight with brain cancer. The battle has been difficult, but they are still fighting as best as they can. So check out Riley's Cancer Support for updates and information on ways that you can help be part of the fight. Thanks, and now on with the show. Hello, and welcome to the Peluso Presents podcast for the week of October 2nd, 2017. My name is Mike Peluso, and I am your host. And this is the show about the collision points between work and life. And the way the show usually works is we usually have a intro, this little intro. Then we'll go in, we'll do some news and updates. After we do the news and updates, we'll have an oration, a reading of our post of the week. The post of the week that can be found at www.pelusopresents.com. After that, we usually have some fun segments. We'll have a Who Am I segment where I talk a little bit about some funny element about my history or past. Sometimes we will have a tech review. Sometimes it'll be a media review. Sometimes some other stuff, maybe an interview or something. This week, we're not going to have any of that because I'm experiencing one of the collision points between work and life, i.e. childcare. My wife is out of town, and even though I have some help, I still have the kids this weekend. So I've decided to record the show early. So we're just going to have this intro, and after the intro, we're going to have our post of the week. So let me just say thank you for listening. If you like the show, and by the way, this is a great episode. I think you will like this extremely shortened show because the post of the week is a good one. It's about a text I received, very, very short, little 3-line text, but it really said all in that text that you need to know about today's job market and what it's like looking for a job. So there is the post of the week. I'll let that speak for itself. I will say thank you for listening. I will say don't forget to share at the end of the show. We have the little bits and pieces at the very end of the show after a little outro that says, please don't forget to share and share, at pelusopresents.com on Twitter. Tell people about www.pelusopresents.com, which is the core website. You can see us on Medium. There's all sorts of different places you can find us. So thank you again for listening, and let's just make today a super short show and go right to our post of the week.
Post of the week.
Text received. Do you want me to read it or ignore?
Read it.
Just letting you know that I got job offer and accepted it. Same pay, lot less benefits, but work from home part of the week, so it works.
The text said he got the job, but I just received a text. It said, just letting you know I got the job offer and accepted it. Same pay, lot less benefits, but work from home part of the week, so it works. It was a simple little text, but it said so much. It wasn't just about news from my buddy, it was about the world today. I thought it would be a good idea to take a look at it and see what the text really said. Let's start with, just letting you know I got the job offer and accepted it. This very first part of the text reinforces the truth about the world we live in. Looking for a job is not once or twice in a lifetime thing as it was in generations past. We live in a dynamic economy where workforce flexibility is hugely valued by Wall Street and employers. We live in the age of the just-in-time workforce and of truly limited commitment on the part of the employer and consequently the employee. I'll get back to the limited commitment part later in the analysis of this text. Unfortunately, this type of text, one sent from a friend to their social support group sharing some bit of good news, has become another ping in the stream of digital consciousness that we all have access to through the thin slabs of plastic, glass, and metal we all keep in our pockets. It's worthy of a smile, a happy thought for the friend who posted it, but it's not the huge celebration it was in generations past. Que sera, sera. Same pay, lot less benefits, but work from home part of the week, so it works. Same pay, that says so much. My buddy is a highly accomplished professional who was always underpaid compared to the skills that they had brought to the table for their specific position. This isn't a commentary about negotiation, but more so about the broad expectations of job seekers. The new norm is just keeping what you have, and the best way to do that is to keep the pay the same. There's limited expectation that your income or your quality of life will go up over the course of your career. To do that, you have to jump to higher levels. As an analogy, a mechanic with 3 years experience after getting their certifications is worth the same as a mechanic with 30 years because, from a practical standpoint, everybody's always job seeking. All the employer wants is someone with somewhat proven mechanic skills and credentials. In many cases, the employer knows the mechanic will only be around for a few years, so all that experience isn't really worth more than the ability to turn a wrench. Loyalty and institutional/customer knowledge and reputation figures into the salary very little. Jumping to higher levels isn't nearly as easy as it sounds. Typically, this would mean you would have to make great sacrifices, like investing in yourself vis-a-vis education or physically relocating to where the opportunities present themselves. Physical relocations can create chaos when it comes to social connections, especially for children. It's really hard for kids to develop lifelong friendships when they're uprooted every 3 or 4 years for mommy and daddy's career. Lot less benefits. Benefits have existed for 2 reasons. They have always, from their inception, been structured to 1. Offer an incentive to attract new talent, and 2. Retain talent for as long as possible. The quintessential example of this is a pension plan. Pensions became useless if you leave before you are vested, and much less impactful if you do not stick it out for the long haul. Even if you jump from pension to pension, the numbers don't work out unless you stick around in one plan for the majority of your career because of the way they are structured. Today, they are all but extinct in the private sector and replaced with the theoretically better 401k. The 401k has a lot in common with political ideologies like communism or socialism in that, on paper, it's a great idea, especially for those in power. But in practice, it just doesn't work well, at least not for the average worker dealing with life issues. The hidden truth about lot less benefits is the huge net loss to my buddy. These benefits cost money for the organization. I know this firsthand as I'm on a nonprofit board where I have to review benefits payments for things like cost of vacation time and healthcare premiums paid by the employer. There's another whole conversation we can have about those, but for this one, the similarity between my buddy and the people who work for the nonprofit is this. They may intellectually know what they are missing, but they don't feel it. All they feel is what is in the take-home direct deposit. Healthcare, time banks, and related benefits all have a very real and quantifiable cost. Employers play a shell game with them. They require vesting periods for retirement accounts. They institute use it or lose it methodology on personal time off. I'm not entirely critical about this practice because employers are doing what they have always done. They are trying to limit risk and liability, but for various competitive reasons, try and make the benefits package sound better than it actually is. The problem for my friend, and for the vast majority of the workforce who needs a job, is that it's difficult to negotiate something like, I'm losing 2 weeks off a year coming to you, so I need to put in writing that I can take those extra 2 weeks off without pay and to increase my take-home pay by 6%, so when I take the time off without pay, I'll still be able to meet my bills. Remember, all of this is just getting what they had from the last job, let alone increasing their income based upon an increased value to the workforce from all of the skills they bring. Yes, I admit there are some very savvy negotiators who work in positions where they are in high demand and can have that conversation. But that is not the norm for your average professional. But work from home part of the week. Telecommuting is the modern version of a win-win. I'm honestly surprised why more organizations don't jump into this work structure with greater aplomb. Fortunately, the trend for this type of work structure is growing in acceptance. The world today is highly complex, and in most cases, you have dual-parent workers. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of social fabric as it relates to the ups and downs of raising a family, like when the kid gets sick and the school or daycare calls you up and says, "Get him out of here," and they can't come back for 48 hours. There's not really a parent who can stay away from work every time their kid gets sick. This being said, the parent who can put the kid on the couch with a movie and then jump back to their computer can make caring for the sick kid and getting the job done a simultaneous exercise. The benefits for businesses are well known. They have to invest less in infrastructure for a workspace for their employees. I'm not just talking about office space, although that is the biggest expense. I'm talking about the computer systems and the internet connection required today for the professional to do their job. It can be expected that the telecommuting worker is going to have their own internet. Most computers that are given to employees are laptops and highly portable. They work just as well from home as they do plugged into the monitor and keyboard at the office. Employers also have higher retention rates and measure greater satisfaction among workers who telecommute. The satisfaction comes from being able to have flexibility to take care of the problems like using the lunch hour to pick up the aforementioned sick kid or get the car fixed. Stressed and overworked people really appreciate being able to take their 10-minute break by doing laundry versus hanging out at the office lunchroom talking to friends. In effect, the employees are able to do more with less, just like the employers are able to do more with less. The bottom line is that telecommuting is a benefit offered by the employer that helps the employer as much as it does the employee. Similar to the 401k, there's also no really long-term commitment to the program. The employer can change their mind at any time with the employee if that's how they want to structure their business. When the employee leaves the organization, it's not like the employer is on the hook to manage a telecommuting account. So it works. I think these last 3 words sum up the professional world as it exists today, as well as this article. My friend did not enjoy the benefits of accelerating their career with the new job. They just got something that worked for them, which is all they could expect for, and honestly, they were very happy with. There were some pros and some cons, but in the end, it almost equaled out. They did lose out a little, but in a way that they didn't immediately feel it. Looking on the bright side, my friend did get a job that works for them. I guess that's much better than having to accept something that was a bad fit, but that they still had to do to keep the lights on and food on the table. I know many people who are in the latter situation, and I am always hoping to get a more positive update or text or tweet from them. Who knows, maybe one day I'll get a text that says, "I got my dream job. It doubled my pay, has better flexibility, and comes with fantastic benefits, including a pension." Now that would be a message worth retweeting. We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Peluso Presents podcast. You can follow the Peluso Presents efforts via Twitter @PelusoPresents, on Facebook, on Medium.com, just search for Mike Peluso, on LinkedIn, and of course on the blog located at www.pelusopresents.com. You can email us directly via peluso@outlook.com. This podcast is available on all major podcast services, including iTunes, Google Play Music, or your podcast service of choice. We love and appreciate any comments and reviews you wish to leave. Please remember to support this effort by sharing and liking the postings on all your social media. If you'd like to support this effort more directly, you can via patreon.com/Peluso Presents. Thank you for listening, following, sharing, and for your support. We appreciate it.